how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by Mortgage CS. Check out mortgagecs.com/PHLY to start your home buying process today. Company NMLS ID number 1464766. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games on this Mishapalooza Eve. That's right. The draft party tomorrow. I don't know how I didn't come up with this sooner. I've named it Michapalooza for Matvei Michkov, and
it's okay.
That's tomorrow. But joining me today, we've got Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle, and all the way out in sunny Las Vegas, Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat reporter, Charlie O'Connor. Chuck, we have a super chat to get to right away. We're going to hit that in just a second, but you're out in Vegas. You got there yesterday. What are any rumors coming out? Have you heard? What's the scuttlebutt over there? Like, is there anything to talk about? Because honestly, today's show's a little light. If you've heard literally anything, report it as fact.
No, not really. Tonight, I think, will be when we'll hear some stuff. It's the big rumor that was out there yesterday, though, and this wasn't just in Vegas. This was online as well. Is the rumor that the Carolina Hurricanes might be getting a pick ahead of the Flyers, which is very interesting for the Flyers because I have no inside information whatsoever as to which player Carolina would like. However, in the past, they have been favorable towards guys like Berkeley Catton.
I was going to say, Tulsi's going to steal Catton from us.
Yeah, like it does not mean that they are definitely like they also have like guys like Constellaneous too, guys who score really well in European leagues that maybe don't have the super flashy skills, but if you look at the numbers, they're great. But looking at guys like Seth Jarvis, and they always take small skilled guys. Let me put it this way. If you're a Flyers fan and you want the Flyers to take Berkeley Catton, like cross your fingers that Carolina doesn't get the 10th pick from the Devils or the 11th pick from Buffalo, both of whom have been rumored to be interested in Marty Necas, who potentially could bring back one of those picks in a trade. So just cross your fingers, trade doesn't happen.
I'm texting Tulsi the second the show is over and being like, dude, come on, man. We need this. Like, please, have you seen where we are? Like, stop it.
No,
you guys are good already.
It just something, put a little pressure on Danny to get up and get like the 6th or 7th pick. That's all.
Get up there
That's
and
all
get
that has to happen. We're not sitting here just completely defenseless. Danny's got the assets to get up. Just go do it, man. Top 10 picks.
Let's get real fucking wild.
Those get traded all the time, I think Charlie said.
Yeah, Charlie did tell us
a show or two ago. It's a pretty regular thing. It's, I think, easy to do. Yeah, we'll see how that all works out. I did see that rumor yesterday. It would be an interesting trade. Obviously, the Devils getting Necas, and then, of course, Carolina getting the 10th pick. Both of those things, not awesome.
Yeah, I don't like either of those things.
But let's get to the super chat now from Adam S. Adam with $9.99 before we even went live today.
Wow.
Wanted to make sure he got his comment. And we've all seen breakdowns of who the most talented players are in the upcoming draft, but yet to hear who the toughest guys are with talent. It's Flyers tradition to be able to score, hit, and fight. And I did, Adam S., thank you for this. This is one of the mailbag questions I got for yesterday that I put aside for a future mailbag of the day. And Adam
is very, he's very intent on getting an answer to this question.
Who is the Sam Moran of this draft?
Yeah, so he could not wait, so he wanted the question answered. Charlie, this is one for you. Me personally, like just what you told me about Yakimchuk, seems like he's pretty badass. Anyone else who you think might check those boxes?
Yeah, he's probably the closest. I mean, there's no Tom Wilson in this draft. Let me put it that way. So if you are dreaming on a 30-goal plus scorer who is huge and beats the crap out of everyone, like that guy is not in this draft. Also, you might just need to come to the conclusion that like that guy doesn't really exist anymore.
I was gonna say do goony tough hockey players even exist anymore? Like with kids coming up through, I feel like they've eliminated a lot of that.
I mean, but if I'm that's a great way to have a long NHL career.
Well, yeah.
Now, like obviously, you have to be as good as the Tkachuks to make it work. But like, I don't know, man. If you're gonna be a 3rd round pick, like Nick Cousins just won a Stanley Cup. Like, be a guy
I guess,
that.
like the super late
Not
rounds.
like
Yeah,
he's not a
maybe.
star player by any means. He's a fourth liner, but if you're that guy, like there's always room for Garnet Hathaways in the league.
Also, though, I feel like we've heard from fighters before that like that wasn't really the goal going in.
Yeah.
That was the like, oh shit, this is how I stay on the roster. I'm Dan Carcillo. I was the best player on all of my teams. Now I'm like a nobody. But if I beat the shit out of everybody, I'm definitely going to make the team. So I guess I'm doing that now. And then that's how they form their career. It's not really because they want to. It's because they have to. So I don't really know if like at the draft level, you're going to identify a guy that's like going to be a face puncher.
We drafted
I mean,
both.
I had heard that Matt Rempe wasn't really a face puncher in his early days.
Oh,
that
yeah?
was something that he realized he was going to have to, like, he was big and huge, so of course he was physical, but he wasn't the fight every game Matt Rempe that we saw. Like, he learned that was a way to get himself to the NHL, and he's in the NHL. The only crappy part about it is that I really hope that as a result of that, it doesn't lead to him, having brain damage in 10, 15 years just to get a taste of the NHL, because this stuff is real. So that would be a bummer. But I mean, it'll get him to the NHL, especially when you're 6'6", 6'7" like he is. But no, I would say Yakimchuk is probably the closest to what you're talking about there, and that he's big, he hits, he's got that nastiness to his game. Stian Solberg is another guy. He's kind of been a late riser. I don't think he's a realistic option at 12. He's probably going to fall more in that like 14 to 20 range. So I don't think the Flyers are going to have an opportunity to take him, but he's a physical guy. He really likes to lay the boomstick, let's say. So he's an option if you're really interested in that. That said, I mean, Adam, I'll be honest with you, like Yakimchuk I like, but I like Yakimchuk because of the skills. The fact that he's physical and mean is a nice bonus. But like I have him as a top 10 player in this draft because of the skills. So like
that's how it should
be. For me, like the physicality and the nastiness is like not something I personally would prioritize. Like if they take Solberg at 12 because he's big and nasty, I will be immensely critical of that pick. You might like that pick because he's big and nasty and hits people. For me, I would disagree because my thing is I want this team to have more skill. That's what they need far more, in my opinion, than guys who hit. Because they have a guy who hits and is big and he stinks in Rasmus Ristolainen, and they're bad anyway because they paid him way too much money because he's big and he hits. Another guy who I do like, though, again, and this is more for the skill, the toughness and the physicality is more of a bonus, is Igor Sorin. He's a KHL guy, a Russian guy. Might be an option in round 2. He was actually one of Alex Appleyard's round 2 preferences. And he kind of gives me the vibe where, like, he's not huge. He's not going to be, like, super intimidating. But he has, like, kind of a Nazem Kadri vibe to him where, like, he's kind of a little shit out there. He has some size. He's like physical. And he's just really annoying and a pest. Obviously, Kadri wasn't afraid to lay the big hit. But I also think he's skilled. So, like, those are the kinds of guys I want. I don't want to reach on a guy just because he's big and mean.
I do want to ask about because going in the top 10 of this draft will be the son of a player who kind of fit the bill of star player, also physical.
This is
beat
true.
The shit out of you. Jerome McGinley, his son Tej. Just reading his prospect profile right here, it says he's got some physicality, but would it be fair to say, like, if you're expecting Jerome, like, I'm going to drop the gloves in the Stanley Cup final, that's probably not what you're going to get?
It was a different time, Bill.
I know.
Different time.
It was 20 years ago. I know.
No, it's 10. It was 10 years ago.
It was.
The 90s were 10 years ago. People, I don't know why people can't figure that out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
No.
just math, guys.
I mean, Tej is about the same size. I think he will be about the same size as his dad when he reaches his prime. Like, he's not as built yet, but kid's 17, 18 years old. He's going to put on more weight. He's going to put on more muscle. I don't know if he has the projection of being quite as physical and intimidating as Iginla was, as Jerome was, I guess. But it could develop as he gets stronger. He's not a not physical player. Like, he's willing to go into the dirty areas and the corners and battle for pucks. So maybe if he puts on another 15, 20 pounds of muscle, then he'll feel more comfortable trying to blow guys up along the boards rather than just pin them. Who knows?
All right, and we have another super chat here from Gary B. What's going on, Gary? Bill, Charlie, and Kelly, what asset would it cost to get into the top 10?
A big one?
Like, if you don't want to give up 12, the answer is Travis Konechny. I think the value of the pick, I think you could do 12 and Lawton, but no one trades top 10 picks.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I think
you would have to trade 12 to get into the top 10.
Probably.
Because I don't think that 32 is going to, no one cares about pick 32.
I think it would be 32 and something else.
Well, yeah. But I think that if you're trying to get into the top 10, it's going to be a thing and 12.
Probably.
Yeah. Could you think B's and 12 could do it? Maybe?
I mean, B's and 12 to me would be a dramatic overpay. To me, like, basically, if you're looking at the draft value chart, to move up from 12 to 7, including 12 in the trade, would be the value of about a mid-second round pick. Okay, so now to say that, like, top 10 picks don't get traded very often, so you're probably going to have to give up more than the value of a mid-second round pick. But that is the statistical value of the difference between 7 and 12. That's why I theorize, and I don't necessarily think this is going to happen, but I theorize that, like, 12 plus Lawton makes some sense to me because that's around the value of Scott Lawton. And what we've seen is that Danny Briere, what he'll do, and he's done this now twice, he will tell other teams, if I'm going to trade this guy, I need to get a first-round pick. And then he gets the first-round pick. Like, I'm thinking the Provorov deal and the Walker deal. He gets a first-round pick, but he gets it in a creative way. You know, he takes on contracts to get the Provorov pick. He takes on the Johansen contract to get the pick in the Walker trade. Maybe if he's told teams, which I think he has, like, if you want Scott Lawton, you need to give me a first-round pick. He can sort of spin it as, well, I got a first-round pick. I might have traded away a first-round pick too, but I did get a first-round pick in the Scott Lawton trade. That makes some sense to me. Now, I think Joel Farabee has significantly more value than a mid-second round pick.
Yeah.
So 12 plus Farabee to me would be a dramatic overpay just to move off 5 slots. Like, to me, if I'm trading Farabee to try to get 7, I'm offering Joel Farabee in 32. And I'm saying
that makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, just like, I know it's the draft, so these guys are like shiny toys, and they're like, yeah, it could even be a boat. And I know we've been a little critical of Joel Farabee, but, like, if these dudes turn out to be 20-some goal scorer, like, that's probably that good. Like, you kind of need, like, you're hoping, as much as, like, Konechny doesn't fit the timeline, you trade him for a haul. It's like one of the pieces of that haul hopefully turns out to be Travis Konechny.
Right.
You know? And yeah, maybe it fits the timeline better, but also you have to be a little realistic about what these players are going to be. Yeah. Some of them might turn out to be stars. A lot of them are going to turn out to be good second-line players, or Morgan Frost. It's like, I don't know. What is he? 3C? Like, you know?
Yeah, I guess trading B's in a hockey trade makes more sense than a draft.
Yeah, I would think so. But I just think that if you're saying 12 plus Farabee for 7, I think you're selling Farabee's value short.
That's fair.
I think he has a lot more value than that. Like, if I'm Ottawa, I take that trade and run. I just don't think the Flyers should make that offer. I don't think they will. I think they know.
I don't think they would either.
Like, I'm not convinced that Farabee's getting traded. I know he's been in a lot of chatter, mostly because, again, and this is something, like, I pointed this out multiple times on the show. I will point it out once more. Trade speculation and rumors are fun. So far be it for me to tell people not to get excited about them because it's fun. It's stuff, and you get to talk about something in the summer. But just keep in mind that we in the media, this stuff drives clicks and it drives interest. So just keep in mind that all of the insiders have an ulterior motive here beyond giving you all of the information. Their ulterior motive is, the more things I report, the more likely I am to keep my job and get raises because I drive lots of traffic and clicks and views. So just, like, I'm not saying it's false. I think that very, very rarely, if ever, do especially the trusted insiders report something that they know is bullshit. But do I think they sometimes puff up the rumors a bit? Yeah, I absolutely think they do.
Yeah, I mean, if I can use, just, peek behind the curtain, because these people aren't stupid, in the title of the show every day, if I can use the word draft or trade it significantly impacts like how many people
Yeah.
might see this in their algorithm.
Yeah.
Because people are always Googling NHL trade, NHL draft. Like that's just a thing that happens. So yeah, it makes sense to, okay, yeah, I saw these two GMs talking. Oh man, I don't know. I think Philly and Ottawa might be working on, and this is just an example. I'm not calling out anyone's reporting. I'm just picking these two teams.
Of course not.
Yeah, like I'm just picking these two teams. Like, oh yeah, man, and it's just like, I don't know, maybe Danny just likes this guy and they're having a drink. Like, and it just like, this is very much possible. Man, we haven't even got to like the first topic yet. We have a bunch of super chats. And thank you, because today is the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow's going to be a ton of fun. It's also going to be a very busy day for Charlie down on the draft floor. We have our draft party and show starting at, what time are we going live tomorrow? 6 or 7? We're live at 7. All right, cool. Good to know. Like it's going to be a pretty wild day tomorrow. Today, it's just kind of like, so what's going on, guys?
What's going on,
Michkov signed yet? So thank you for all these super chats. What's this next one here? Another one from Adam S. Just don't want Michkov getting bullied out there. Listen, I understand that line of thinking because I agree. And I do think, like, I built a little depth chart in my head or in my notepad on my phone the other day. And I am looking at this team and going, man, this has, if they fill the holes, like I have an X at 1C, an X on left side, right, left side, number 1D, all that stuff. But like, if they fill these holes, this has a chance to be a very entertaining team, a very highly skilled team. Also, they're small. Like this is kind of shaping up to be right now, the way they're built, they're a smaller team. It doesn't have to be. There's ways to supplement that. That said, I watched a game this year where Jacob Trouba laid a hit on, I think maybe Joel Farabee in the Rangers defensive zone. All of a sudden, Nick Delorier is chasing after him, has his hand on his jersey, chasing after him as Trouba's skating up the ice, dragging Delorier behind him, and he just fucking pops Garnett Hathaway, knocked him almost out. There is no deterrent factor.
No.
People are going to hit Matvei Michkov because he's really good and he's going to have the puck a lot, presumably. So they're going to want to stop that from happening by hitting him. There's no way to prevent that. Yes, I love when we answer back. That's cool. But there is zero deterrent factor.
Yeah, we have Nick Delorier, one of like maybe 3 actual fighters left in the league.
It's like him, Reeves, and Redback.
Doesn't deter anything. Like the hits still happen because the other team still wants to hurt your really good players.
Yeah.
So that's just something we're going to have to deal with. And Michkov is hopefully greasy enough that he can just avoid getting hit.
Just be better.
Yeah, be better.
Well, really the answer here is our boy H-Mac, Hunter McDonald. He is the solution.
Oh, God, I keep forgetting about him.
Yeah, that is the answer.
I already have him paired with Jamie Drysdale for life, protecting him. Now he's got Michkov to worry about too, I guess.
Can you wear Andrew McDonald's number just for fun?
It would be fun.
47. We're bringing it back.
Yeah. Just let everybody who bought an Andrew McDonald jersey for some reason.
Those people deserve no. Good.
No
I'm
peace.
glad. Actually, I'm glad it's spelled differently.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Mick, not Mac.
Foiled by the Mick.
All right, another one here from Linden49. Jakubchuk cannot play D. Poor backward skating, poor pivot, poor decision-making on defense, over 100 penalty minutes and only 2 fights, a penalty machine. Yeah, I think you can coach that out of him. Also, I think sometimes you just got to board people. Like, I do think that's a part of hockey where sometimes you just got to throw a bad hit.
This kind of thing is like, okay, Linden49, respectfully, would this kid be so high on everyone's draft board if he was actually bad at defense? Like, I kind of think this is a place where, like, I'm going to trust, I don't know, Bobby Mack and Scott Wheeler. Like, they probably know more than me.
There is a chance, just like you look at his measurables, he's a big dude, and then you look at the hands and go, yeah, I see why someone would fall in love with this. Yeah. Like, that is the... Oh man, could he be a defensive Tom Wilson? Like, can he do both things? It's like, well, we'll see. But I have no idea. We'll see.
Also, our penalty kill is sick. We can deal with penalties. That's when we score our goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what Linden says, like, those are the concerns. Those are the weaknesses. However, I definitely think that he is, or she, I don't know if Lyndon is a guy or a girl. I definitely think that evaluation is accentuating the bad. Like it's exaggerating. Because like, I don't think Yakupchuk is terrible defensively. He's not the best at reads at this stage of his career, and he makes some mistakes. I also don't think he is a terrible skater. I think he's actually quite a good straight line skater. And I think his skating over the course of his draft year on the whole, if you're talking about the edges, the acceleration and whatnot, it got better. Now, will it continue to get better or will it plateau? If it plateaus, then yeah, he's not that great of a skater. But like, I don't think he is. I think he is a better skater than Evan Bouchard. And Evan Bouchard is a legitimate top pair, borderline number one defenseman at the NHL level for a team that went to Game 7 of the Cup final. So that's not something that like really scares the hell out of me in terms of his downside. Now, he's a risky player. It could turn out that he is a third pair defenseman at the NHL level because the hockey IQ just isn't there, and he's going to be a defensive liability. But he has enough tools that I think you can shape him into at least an okay defensive defenseman. And given the puck skills that he has, the shot, the confidence with the puck, the upside is there. So I don't think Lyndon is wrong in expressing those concerns. I just think those concerns are a bit exaggerated. That said, I'm sure there are scouts that would probably echo that same thing. The scouts that don't believe in Yakupchuk would say, he sucks defensively, he can't skate, don't pick him. But there are a lot of other scouts that would look at him and say, the skating is trending upwards, it's going to get better, and we can work on the defense to the point where he's at least okay. This is the fun of the draft. There's going to be differing opinions.
I will say based on nothing but vibes, because again, I don't watch tape. For some reason, I feel like if anyone's going to bust out of the top 10, it's him.
It does feel like there's
I feel like he's the biggest bust potential.
Like he has,
I think that might be fair.
Like a wild swing of,
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's going to go 12. No, he's going to go 6.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like I have no idea. No. That's and like Charlie said, there are always so many varying opinions. It is the fun of the draft, and I like when people stake their claim. This is the guy I hate. This is the guy that's going to be good.
Yeah.
Like I do enjoy that part, and I've seen enough drafts that I know I have no idea.
No, nobody does. That's what's fun about it.
Yeah,
they're all guessing.
Before we go any further, I got to let you know today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Listen, I think a lot of us, whether it's for the little things in life, like how much time and emotion we put into our sports teams, or the bigger things in life, whether it's setting boundaries with your family, learning to just maybe celebrate yourself a little more, whatever it might be, we could all use little time talking to somebody, and that's where BetterHelp comes in. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. And that's huge. You get assigned with somebody, and maybe you don't vibe with that person right away. Maybe it's just not the kind of messaging that's going to work for you. Maybe you need to switch up your schedule, whatever it is. No charge if you need to switch. But I think it's very important to just maybe learn some coping skills, maybe just get over something in your life that's just stopping you from taking the next step, whatever it might be. If you have any issues you think you need to talk with somebody, BetterHelp is a great place to start. So take a moment, visit betterhelp.com/PHLY to get 10% off today to get your first month. That's betterhelp.com/PHLY. BetterHelp is required to have an FTC disclosure. Oh, no, I'm not supposed to read that part. Let me just take a moment, visit betterhelp.com/PHLY today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/PHLY.
You're doing amazing.
I read that out of order and it went really poorly. I'm sorry, BetterHelp. But great. I think the message is right.
Yeah.
We could all benefit from a little therapy.
Everyone should go to therapy.
Clearly, Flyers fans. I mean, people, thank you so much for spending money to ask us questions on this show. this obsession we have with this team, it's unhealthy. I'm not to undermine people with
There are
actual,
so many super chats.
All right, let's get to some more of these super chats while I dig myself deeper. Gary B, I really want Catton. I figured 12th pick was a must in the package.
Yeah. You would imagine.
It's probably like the easiest thing to get done, especially considering, like, me personally, I would love to trade Travis Konechny for like 7 and have 3 first-round picks.
That'd be neat.
That would be cool. But that's not going to happen. So I think the easiest trade, if they're going to move up, is 12 and something to get up a couple of slots to pick the player they target. If it's Catton, awesome. If it's somebody else, I trust the scouts because I have no other recourse.
Nah. All I can do is trust the experts. And by that, I mean Charlie.
All right, and the next super chat from Gary. Charlie, could I be overhyping Catton? He is one of the guys that I think there's been this, oh man, if we can get him, that kind of solves.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said earlier, I would trade Travis Konechny to move up in this draft. Also, if a dude is as good as Travis Konechny, that's a win.
Yes.
Is Berkeley Catton above and beyond that? Maybe he has a higher ceiling than someone who, you've called Travis Konechny. He's a legit first line right winger.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are legitimate concerns surrounding Catton. Now, I like him a lot. And tomorrow I'll be releasing my top 50 draft board on allphly.com. Spoiler, Berkeley Catton is in my top 5, so I'm very high on him. However, it's not like he's a perfect prospect. Now, the production in the WHL was great. That said, he got a lot of ice time. So, part of it is, he can hold up with that kind of ice time. Another part of it is, if he's getting 27 minutes a night, he's going to rack up a lot of points. So maybe the numbers are inflated a little bit there. The big concern, I would say, with Catton, or I guess the 2 big concerns, but the big concern from the Flyers' perspective is it's not any way, shape, or form a certainty he's going to be able to stick at center. That's the big concern. And it's not even just that he is smallish, which he is. He's very slight. He's under 6 foot, whatever. It's more that he's small and he doesn't have the kind of defensive acumen. He's not that great defensively. He blasts the zone a lot. There are people who legitimately think that his skill set might be better suited to wing, and he might be a great wing, but the Flyers really need a center. And it's not that he won't be real good for the Flyers if he has to move over to wing. He very well might be, but one of the reasons why I think Flyers fans are so excited about Catton is because of this idea that maybe he could be that center they need. Maybe he could be the center for Michkov. It's no guarantee he sticks at center. That, I think, is the big concern. The defensive concerns are also real. This could, the guy who I put this in I've written so many draft articles this week. I honestly don't remember which article it was in. I put it in one of my articles that one of the players that he kind of reminds me a bit of. Not completely, because obviously there isn't, you can't do an apples-to-apples comparison. And it's a very funny comparable. If he hits his ceiling, he kind of reminds me of Danny Briere. And Briere was that kind of guy where he was not good defensively. He was not the kind of guy that you wanted facing top lines. And he would play wing sometimes because he wasn't necessarily your perfect center. Now, he obviously played center a lot, too. He had that line with Leno and Hartnell. So he could be a center. But was he really a true 1C all situations guy? No, not even at his best he wasn't. No. But he was a 90 to 100 point guy, and that was real friggin' cool. So I don't want you to go into the draft thinking that Berkeley Catton is the solution to all of their problems. He's a very skilled guy who I'm very high on. But it's not that he doesn't have flaws in his game. It's not that there isn't risk in his profile. There is.
Do you think that, sorry to interrupt, do you think that in the next 5 years or so, I feel like we're starting to get away from this extremely fixed idea of positions in a way? It seems even now, wingers will take face-offs sometimes. Yeah. I feel maybe this idea that you need this guy to play this position, and if he's not this particular kind of guy, he can't play. I kind of feel maybe hockey's getting away from that a little bit, and so maybe you're starting to see with these kids, you have to think of it differently than just is center, is wing. And if he's the center, he's taking the face off. If he's the wing, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
I always think of when they put Schenn and Briere together, and it was like, you two are like both 75% of center.
Yeah.
So we have a good one when we combine you.
Right.
And it's okay. Yeah. We're moving Claude Giroux to wing. Also, he and Couturier are going to go back and forth taking face-offs on their strong side. And like Landeskog and McKinnon did that when they play together. It's like, well, yeah, but yeah, you're going to alternate. Like, and we do have John Tortorella, who, again, while we think of him sometimes as this dinosaur, he's the rover guy. Like he is kind of maybe not positionless hockey, but just kind of aggressive. Listen, you know I want positionless hockey.
I know
Put
you
the
do.
best 5 hockey players out at all times.
Who cares?
Like that's all of them can do stuff.
Yeah.
Teach someone to skate backwards. I could do it. It ain't that hard.
They can do it.
You know, these are high level athletes. Yeah. I do though.
I think we are turning in more of a positionless hockey direction, but it is still, like, generally speaking, if you are the center, you are the guy that's lower in the defensive zone.
Yeah.
And if you are the winger, especially on breakouts, you are the guy who's higher in the defensive zone, who has to deal with, you know, the pressure of someone coming in to pinch on you, the defenseman pinching on you, you know, to try to disrupt you as you receive a pass up high along the boards. Like, yes, there is more motion now. And sometimes you'll see a center up at the wing spot just because that's the way the play went and it was a fast-moving play. But still, more often than not, the centers go down low more, you know, especially in the defensive zone. And that is where it does help if you're big. Sure. If you're bigger, you are more able to deal with the kind of traffic that is down there and be able to be a successful outlet for your defensemen and be able to win battles down low, near the net and along the boards, behind the net. So it's still important, and I don't know if that's ever going to completely go away. Mm-hmm. But Chris Peters said this when we talked to him a few weeks ago. He said that, yeah, like one of the reasons why he does believe that Cat can stick at center at the NHL level is because the way that the center position is viewed is different than it was viewed 10, 15, 20 years ago. So, Kelly, there's a truth to that, but I do think that, like, size is still helpful at center, and the center position is still distinct from wing.
Sure.
Is there, like, I know I'm biased to a certain type of hockey. I know, like, I'm not anti-small player. Mm-hmm. Does anyone else have the concern that the Flyers might be a little small?
I hadn't thought about it until you just brought it up. I mean, I think that only becomes a problem in the playoffs because they don't call anything anymore. And the Flyers still have to get to the playoffs. So I think I'll worry about that when I need to.
All right.
I don't know. Also, like, if you're faster than the other team and you're greasier than the other team and you have the puck more than the other team, then it's not going to matter you're fucking small because you're doing stuff.
I don't have a problem with small players individually. Like, take the best guy. I just think at a certain point you need to add some size.
We have some big boys, don't we?
Tippett is bigger.
Yeah. Like, Bill, I think part of your concern here, it's not even like, because look, do the Flyers have some small players? Absolutely. I think the Flyers probably are more concerned than you would think about their future decor because they look at it and they're like, well, Drysdale's small and York's small, and we like Andre. Where's the size going to come in? That said, I think when you say size, you say size, but you more mean size that hits and is physical. Because, like, Sean Couturier is big. Travis Sanheim is big. Owen Tippett is big. Tyson Forrester is big. These guys are all big. It's just that they don't fit the archetype of, like, the big dude who throws a lot of hits. But, like, from a pure size standpoint, they have tall dudes. They have dudes that are long.
No, they have tall dude, but Sanheim is lanky as I know he put on all the weight and everything, but, like, I just don't see that element of, like, winning board battles down low consistently. Also, like, I'm hoping Sean Couturier is part of this team. Like, it's one of those, okay, yeah, he's a bigger guy, and I do think he plays physically a different way with body positioning more than big hits. Like, I think he plays an underrated physical game. Also, I don't know if he can keep up at this level anymore. That's something I have to see this coming season, whether or not that's possible before I factor him into, like, oh, well, we do have that element in him. I don't know. I don't know if we do. I see all the super chats. We're going to get to them.
It's just Mailbag Thursday.
Yeah, this is incredible.
How many more super chats do we have?
Just like, I think there's 3 more.
Jeez. Is it the same people or is it new people?
It's a couple of the same
new
people and some other people joining in, but we're going to get to them. First, though, I got to tell you about our daily presenting sponsor, our friends at Mortgage CS. And I want to tell you about the rising interest rates right now because, yes, rates are slightly higher, but home prices are still rising as well. Mortgage CS can help you get into a home before they go even higher and also refinance to save money when the rates do drop. And who doesn't love that? The same house with a lower payment. Now, we all know about the rising interest rates, but the thing is, even if you're in the market for a home values are elevated and expected to keep rising as well. So it might not make sense for you to keep waiting for interest rates to drop before you buy a home when the price of houses keeps going up. Plus, Mortgage CS can monitor your refinance opportunities and ensure you save money responsibly when the rates do drop. Refinancing with Mortgage CS is straightforward. You don't want to pay a ton of fees when you refinance, and you'll never get that at Mortgage CS. In the end, you'll be so happy you texted Ben, and you can do so at the number right on the screen. If you're listening on the podcast, it's 267-391-7425, and you'll find out for yourself the reason people win more with Mortgage CS. So call or text Ben now and see for yourself. You can also go to mortgagecs.com/PHLY to check them out or view their 350-plus perfect 5-star reviews by searching Mortgage CS right now. Either you got to do one of two things for me right now. Either just search Mortgage CS, open up another window in your browser, boom, see all those reviews. You'll see I'm not BSing you. Or text Ben, and if you're not in the housing market, ask him who he likes for the Flyers at 12. Ask him what he thinks of Matvei Michkov coming over 2 years early. I bet you'll get a response because that's what they're all about, great customer service over at the Mortgage Concierge Service. This advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Mortgage CS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS ID number 1464766. Visit mortgagecs.com for more information. Before we get to the rest of the super chats, I see them. We'll get them. I do want to cover a couple of things in this show.
I was going to say you haven't touched
we haven't touched the outline yet, other than asking Charlie, what's the scuttlebutt? Because I wanted to say scuttlebutt.
It was a good thing.
Charlie, the buyout window is now open. Do we know anything about Cam Atkinson, Cal Petersen? Obviously, the Ryan Johansen situation complicated by the injury he may or may not actually have. Do we know, is there anything going on in terms of the buyout window with the Flyers?
Well, we know that there's not going to be a buyout today because in order to buy someone out, you need to put them on waivers first, and the Flyers have not yet put anyone on waivers. Now, the two guys obviously are Atkinson and Petersen. At this point, if we haven't heard anything about Ryan Johansen, my assumption is that he is still claiming that he is injured and can't play. And if that's the case, then there's a good chance he's just going to be on long-term injury reserve for the remainder of his contract. I still think Atkinson is going to get bought out. I do, but they have some time. This doesn't have to be decided upon until the 30th, which means that they would have to have someone on waivers by the 29th, which is Saturday. They've got a few days, and I'm sure what's probably going on is that Danny is trying his best to see if he can trade Atkinson, so he doesn't have to have that second year. Now, if we are at 10 a.m. on Saturday and it's midway through day 2 of the draft and Danny Briere has not yet found anyone, my assumption would be he puts him on waivers. As for Petersen, I've always assumed they're going to keep him, but I guess if a couple of other moves are made, maybe if there's a situation where they need to clear cap space in some way, maybe he gets bought out. But I still think Atkinson is getting bought out. It's just not something that has to happen yet because I think with Briere, he's got a lot of coals in the fire. There's a lot going on, and he's going to wait to see how this plays out before he makes a decision because he doesn't have to make a decision yet.
All right, and now I want to talk about the unsigned as of yet Matvei Michkov entry-level contract.
Why isn't he signed, Charlie? What's happening?
Well, that's the question I want to...
I reported this. I reported this 2 days ago.
I know. I was doing it online.
The question I want to ask is, now, while they can go over by 10% in the offseason over the cap, and you can solve your cap issues when the season begins by putting Ryan Ellis on LTIR if you choose to do so, right now, the Flyers have $803,572 of cap space. Do you think it really just might have to wait until they
clear
like
something
buy out or trade Cam Atkinson, figure out something to clear a little bit of space? How much of that is a concern?
No, that is definitely not the case for a
Okay.
few reasons. Number one, you are allowed, and now the Flyers, I don't believe, are using this yet, but they could. You are permitted to put a player on long-term injured reserve in the offseason, and he does not then count against your cap. Or, I mean, he does count against your cap in a weird roundabout way, but he doesn't count against the 10% overage thing because you have the allowance factor. Number two, and this is a really important point to make, guys on entry-level contracts don't count against the offseason cap. Like if they did, then every single guy they have on an entry-level contract in the AHL would count against their cap, and they obviously don't.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. See, Charlie,
So overly
this is why I
complicated.
ask simple questions to Charlie sometimes, because he has multiple answers for you. That's what I love. I wanted to go over the bonus structure a little bit too, Charlie, because I didn't know exactly what was allowed and what isn't. Like, oh, can they just give him a 10 games played sort of bonus the way what Boston did for Brad Marchand or for correct? The center, Bergeron.
Bergeron.
A year ago.
Hall of Famer.
A year ago when, like, yeah, you know, the great one. His contract basically doubled when he hit 10 games. And it was like, okay, yeah, we'll just pay him that and overages next year. Entry-level contracts are a little different. There's only certain things you can give bonuses to for forwards. And I wanted to go over this stuff. So he's going to count against the cap. I think it's $975K, Charlie. Is that what the standard entry-level contract is?
I don't know off the top of my head, but that sounds right.
I believe it's right. 950 or 975. For players signed starting in 22, there's two levels of bonuses on entry-level contracts. There's A bonuses. They're worth $250,000 each, and you can have a maximum of 4, achieving 4 of these goals for a total of $1 million in bonuses. You get 20 goals, 35 assists, 60 points, top 6 in ice time among forwards on the team, minimum 42 games. Top 3 in plus minus among forwards on the team. 0.73 points per game. End of season all rookie team. All-star selection. All-star MVP. So you can achieve up to 4 of those things and get $250,000 for it. That would be $1 million in bonuses. And then there are B-level bonuses worth a maximum of $2.5 million for players drafted in 2022 and later. And the full amount of the bonus is awarded if any of the following is achieved, and it's forwards top 10 in NHL forward goals, assists, points, or points per game, minimum 42. So that would be like, oh, he's not just in the Calder conversation, he's in the Hart conversation.
Yeah.
That would be another $2.5 million in bonuses. So it can be worth up to $3.5 million in total bonuses, but in all likelihood, $1 million. How is this going to affect the cap, Charlie? Like, is the bonus overage thing as big of a deal as we were told it was during the whole Cutter Gauthier mess?
It's a deal. I wouldn't say it's a huge deal. It's certainly not going to hold up the contract. The Flyers are going to do what they have to do to get Matvei Michkov under contract. And to be clear, like, I know that this is a thing because people are Michkov crazy and they want this contract to be done immediately. I reported, I think this was yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before. I reported, it was essentially, it was I guess it would have been 2 days ago because it was Monday. It was when the termination was officially announced by his KHL club. And then everybody's like, when's he going to sign the ELC? When's he going to sign the ELC? My understanding is that the Flyers, number one, he's going to be signed. He would not terminate the contract if he wasn't going to be signed. So, like, don't worry. They're signing Matvei Michkov to an entry-level contract. My understanding is that the Flyers and Matvei Michkov's representation, now CAA, one of the biggest agencies, if not the biggest agency in hockey. They're actually outside of hockey too, but we're talking about hockey right now. Both sides essentially need to figure out if they're even allowed to sign him before July 1st because of the Russian element, because of things like that. And they might be allowed to. But right now, the Flyers are basically like, let's make sure we don't mess anything up. There's no rush. He wants to be on the team. We want him on the team. He's a major part of our future. My guess is they probably already worked through all these bonuses because they knew in advance this was coming. Michkov had picked his representation long before he actually terminated the deal. So I am not in any way, shape, or form concerned. I just said, and I reported this, don't be shocked if it takes until like next week for this thing to actually be signed. Don't worry, it's going to happen. Like, I will say it again. Don't worry, it's going to happen. It's not going to kill us to wait an extra 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, it could. It could. You don't know that it won't.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
Anything.
You can't say that with 100% certainty. Since you just mentioned they're waiting on clarification from the league on this thing, like just make sure everything's official and good, and we don't have a Tony D'Angelo situation where it's like he's traded. No, he isn't. That's illegal.
You're not allowed to trade him.
And obviously, it's not like we're going to be stripped of Matvei Michkov or anything, but they just want clarification to make sure there's no fuck ups. It's June 27th. They need clarification on Carter Hart still? Like, has there been any?
They sure do. They sure do. I have
no movement on that.
I've heard nothing about it, and they do. They need some sort of clarification. Look, everybody's now in the same city. All the league officials, Gary Bettman, everybody in the league front office, Bill Daly, and then all the teams. I would have to assume that at some point over the next couple days, there will be some sort of clarification given to the Flyers about what is going on, what they are allowed to do, what they should do, what they shouldn't do with regards to Carter Hart's qualifying offer, which I believe has to be submitted to him by July 1st. So we're running out of time here. I don't know, but the last time I checked, which was about last week, it was still, we got no clarification. So my guess is that we will learn something about like whether there's going to be a reserve list, whether all these teams are just going to be allowed to do whatever the hell they want. If the whole thing is, well, we're going to be issuing them qualifying offers and then the league is going to put them on the same list they were on last season where they didn't count against the cap. I don't know. I don't even know if the teams know yet, but my assumption is that we're going to find out over the next couple of days.
All right, and in one of our super chats here from Rory, he let us know that Matvei Michkov reposts the Flyers post during the pod, and it's Danny Briere announcing him as the pick during today's show. So that's good stuff, and we're stalking his Instagram.
There was another workout video today in a Flyer shirt.
The workout video I saw. I think it was you responded. Was that leg day?
It was leg day today.
Yeah. So that's good. Feeding that wolf.
Get it.
So it's. I can't.
He's gonna sign, guys. Don't worry.
I just can't wait for this dude to be playing hockey. I need October. Just so we can stop doing this.
Yes.
Mike, if we had to do this for another 2 years, that would have been like aneurysm inducing.
No, we've been given a gift.
It's like if we have to stalk his Instagram account for like clues for another 2 years, thank God this contract got terminated.
It's a Flyer shirt.
Him succeeding as a rookie is far less important than him just coming over and ending this for me.
Yes.
Like, I am so glad we don't
just
have to
be a Flyer.
in a couple of days. It's like, oh my God, his Instagram. Did you see it? I am happy that is over. Before we move on.
We have so many super chats.
I know this is all super chats now. I just have to like get stuff out of the way while I can. But you're going to want to hear this.
Yes.
Look at those glasses.
You're going to want to hear. I hate taking my hat and then do it. But
no, you're doing good. Yeah. You're good.
I got to tell you about our friends at Shady Rays. You got to get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. Listen, I have a couple of pair of Shady Rays that I wear basically every day. I've shown you the hybrid ones that I've been wearing, the green ones with the plastic, like kind of, not even a plastic, more like a rubbery, little more malleable frame. These are the classic aviators, tangle free. And the thing I love about them most, they're tangle free, all right.
Oh, that's good stuff.
You go into Wawa, maybe you're getting yourself an Olipop, you're wearing your sunglasses. I got to take these off. I look ridiculous wearing sunglasses inside.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, pop them up on your head, and then they don't get stuck in your hair when you take them back out. I'm a big fan of the Shady Rays. I think you will be too. And listen, Now's the best time because exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And I know, like, my wife is very sensitive to, like, polarized, especially she's, like, looking at a screen or driving and, like, looking at the nav screen or something. It's like, the polarized with the screen, it screws with my eyes. I'm reading all of this off of my computer right now. Absolutely clear. Perfect. It's not the kind of polarization that screws with you too bad. I really love Shady Rays. I think you will too. So head to shadyrays.com. Use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. All right, let's knock out some more of these super chats.
All right.
People, thank you so much for writing today's show, fam.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. From Dylan Phillips, he says, looking at the Skinner buyout, doesn't this worry you about a TK extension? I just feel as though it would be better to move him for assets for future with Matvei Michkov.
Skinner's still good.
That's the thing is, like, Skinner had after, and that contract was bad. It was bad. And then he finally kind of bounced back. And now it's just like, well, we got other dudes to pay, man. Like, thanks. And honestly, it works out for him because he's coming off a good year and he can go sign another contract. But Konechny hasn't had those wild dips yet.
No.
Like, he did have a few bad years, but down years compared to what. But I can only judge his production off of what he's done. Now, we had a question yesterday in the mailbag that was like, I think he's on the Marchand track, is going to become a 100-point player. And I know Charlie wants to prorate and be like, when you say he's never had a 70-point season, the points per game, it's kind of disingenuous. But to say you think he could get to 100 when he's never hit 70 is insane to me.
I like the optimism.
A little ambitious.
That's I said. Like, I'm jealous of your optimism.
Yeah, I like it.
But, like, I don't think a TK extension is going to age that poorly.
No.
I just think it's too much money for a guy you're hoping is your second line right winger.
Right. That's the problem. I'm not worried at any point about Travis Konechny being bad. Like, he's going to be good for the length of the contract. Will he be this good for the length of the contract? Probably not at the back end of it. But like you said, I'm just more worried about, like, as far as cap management goes, is this the right place to spend all of those dollars?
Where do we get the money to pay the great players we don't have yet?
If it were, some fewer dollars, it would be fine. But
I do think, like, when I see the rumors at, like, maybe I think it's gonna come in at 6 years, 9.5. I think when Danny gets it done for like 8.7, it's like, a victory.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's what happens.
What if Volvi Hockey have him at 8.8? I think
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, one thing I'll say about this, I do think to answer your question, Dylan, I do think there's something to this comparison, but it's more conceptual than apples to apples. Like, the reason why the Konechny contract extension is concerning and is worrying is because he's not a superstar level player. And generally speaking, when teams sign very good players, but not superstars, to 8-year contracts, especially ones that go through their 30s, they tend not to age well. That is this Jeff Skinner contract. Obviously, it didn't age well. However, Travis Konechny is a significantly more well-rounded player than Jeff Skinner ever was. Jeff Skinner was always viewed as a finesse goal scorer who puts up numbers but drives coaches insane. That's always been the way he's viewed. And Konechny is a much chippier player. He brings much more physicality to the table, much more energy to the table. Like Skinner, you would always hear, like, well, when he's not scoring, what is he doing? When Travis Konechny isn't scoring, he's still doing a lot of stuff. He's still killing penalties. He's still stirring up shit, after whistles. He's still playing physical along the boards. So I don't think Skinner is a great comparable for Konechny as a player, but I do get the comparison of Skinner was one of these really good but not elite players who they gave an 8-year contract to and then very quickly regretted it. Yeah, I get that comparison.
I know this is a tough comparison to make. Like, they're in different situations. Casey Middlestat is younger, but, like, he's a center on a championship caliber team whose production isn't that far off from Konechny's. The idea that he's going to get like $3 or $4 million less than TK is kind of crazy to me, especially on a much shorter term. Like, I just don't see it as totally worth it, but it's going to happen. Like I said yesterday, I don't think Danny Briere should be fired over this. man, it just does not seem like the best allocation of resources.
It doesn't, but it is what it is at this point. Who's next?
All right. After Dylan, we have AOB. Says, happy draft eve, y'all.
Yay!
I heard
Al Morgani, I'm guessing.
Al Morgani predict that Michkov will end up being a center. Do you see any reasonable chance of that happening?
Interesting.
I remember when they asked, I think they asked Danny this, like, in the beginning of last season, because he was playing, or at least was working there in the KHL preseason. It was like,
preseason.
They're going to try him out at center. And it was like, yeah, we maybe Cutter can be a center. We don't see that with Matvei. That's just a Scott thing. They're trying this.
Yeah, what I'll say is that, I mean, like, Al is one of the people who I like really respect in terms of his hockey knowledge.
Yes.
Like, he's a really good dude, but he also knows hockey. And if Al Morgani thinks he can be a center, that's not something that I'm just going to dismiss out of hand, because Al knows his shit. What I can tell you is that in all of my conversations with people with the Flyers, they have told me they view him as a wing. Now, that doesn't mean that he can't become a center at some point down the road. And when Al Morganti watches him, he sees a future center, I'm not going to dismiss that out of hand, because he's a good hockey player. But I can tell you the Flyers from the start have thought to themselves and said to themselves internally, he plays like a wing, he's going to be a wing.
I actually think what I just said, I read in your maybe interview with Brent Flair. Like, that might be where I heard it. I can't remember, but it was someone in the organization being like, nah, we see him as a wing. But I will say, like, I think I can see what Al sees. Like, yeah, he probably won't be the most defensively responsible kind of center down low in the offensive zone, but I can see, like, on the breakout, wanting him to be the one swooping low to take the outlet pass, to take the breakout pass from the defenseman. I can see just wanting him to be the guy with the puck on his stick a lot of the time, like making the decisions, playing that point guard role, like being some combination of a Briere / Giroux center, where it's like, yeah, maybe not the most traditional in this position, but certain skills kind of line up where you want him there. I like when Charlie just nods.
Me too.
It would be cool if he's a center. It would solve a lot of problems.
But probably not.
Hey,
probably not.
Maybe, but probably not.
All right, we have
so
another
many.
one now. They just keep coming.
Everyone chill. We need to leave here.
How much money have we made on this show?
$7,000.
I'm telling Vince these better cover my drinks at the Mishapalooza on Friday at Chickies and Pete's. For another one from Linden 49, Seneca with Michkov and Frost would be a nice line. I think you have thoughts on Seneca, and I don't remember what they are, Charlie.
I like Seneca. I will say that he is my least favorite of the top tier. I get the appeal, and I do think he is in my blue chip tier. He is very much in that tier. I think the upside is great. I love the puck skills. I am always going to be skeptical of guys who in the first half of like their draft season just aren't that good. And then it's like, oh, they turned it on. Now they're great. And it's like, okay, maybe they've gotten better, or maybe they just got on a really well-timed hot streak. That is a concern for me. I also just, I don't see, number one, I don't see a guy who's going to be very good defensively. Number two, I just think there's risk there. I think you're dreaming on what he can be if he, essentially, before he had this big growth spurt, because he had a 4 to 5 inch growth spurt during his draft year, going into his draft year. And the narrative around him is that Seneca in the second half and into the playoffs was learning how to play to his new size. And before he had the growth spurt, he was a small energy, physical, like type of high motor guy. And the theory is, well, if he adds the motor back in, but now in a 6'3" frame, he's going to be an absolute monster. And that's possible. But again, you're projecting. I haven't seen it. You're hoping, you don't know. Also, and this is a reasonable critique that I've heard a lot of people I respect throw out about him, Seneca's production very much dovetails, like the increase in production, it very much dovetails with him playing with Caleb Ritchie, who was a first-round pick for Colorado last year. I think there is a little bit of worry that maybe he's a bit of like his surge was a bit of a product of Richie, who I've always thought very highly of. I thought he slipped too far last year. I like Seneca. I don't love him to the degree I think that Linden does, though.
All right. Before we round out these super chats, I want to talk to you about the Bet Park Sportsbook. We're brought to you by the Bet Park Sportsbook app. You can get in the zone with the Bet Park Sportsbook. I was just checking out some of the NHL futures that they have listed right now. If maybe you got a feeling, maybe you're really getting into listen, man, just a couple of weeks, just a couple of months, NHL season right back around. The best prices you're going to get on some Stanley Cup champions might be right now before we know anything. If maybe you think you know something better than everyone else, well, you're never going to get better prices than right now on futures like the Colorado Avalanche or Dallas Stars or Florida Panthers to repeat, all at 9-1. Edmonton in there at 10-1. Maybe you really, really think the Flyers have a chance. Matvei Michkov is going to be the guy. The Flyers have a chance to win the Metropolitan Division. 15-1. You can get them right now at the Bet Park Sportsbook app. Of course, there's so much more going on at the Bet Park Sportsbook app. You can bet on baseball every day. I'm seeing WNBA up here, all sorts of soccer, Copa America, Euro 2024, anything. The big three. You can bet on the big three. There's also a UFC. Everything you want to bet on is available at the Bet Park Sportsbook app, and you can win big with all-day action. If you win your first $10 bet, you can earn $125 in sports bonus bets. You play for fun. You love to win. You bet. Download the app and play along with us. Must be 21 or older. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's knock out some more of these super chats. Everything else I have planned for today can wait. Where were we, Prin? Oh my God, this is insane. You people are nuts. All right, from PHLY 2848, does Michkov coming over change plans for the draft? They have that idea for what it takes to get the 7th. Is that still an option?
No. Next.
No, it does not change a damn thing. They are still looking for high-end talent. They are still looking to address their center hole, regardless of whether Michkov came over this year or next year or the following year. That was always going to be what they wanted.
A trade, not with the Flyers, but a trade happened.
What do we have? Some sort of breaking news?
So the Sabres have acquired the 14th and the 42nd overall pick from San Jose in exchange for 11.
Interesting.
So San Jose is now moving to 11. Interesting.
San Jose.
Okay. Very interesting.
Interesting. Good for them.
Making
all right.
Moves
that is so that is interesting to me because I had the general consensus is that at least, and maybe this changes now that they're up to 11. General consensus is that San Jose was likely to take a defenseman. So perhaps they look at this as a way to guarantee that they get, a Perek, a Yakimchuk, something like that. I don't know if they would take, because they're obviously taking Celebrini at 1.
Yeah.
They took Will Smith last year. I don't think this hurts. For example, I don't think this hurts the Flyers' chances of getting Berkeley Catton because I am skeptical. I am skeptical that they would take that the Sharks at 11 would take Catton after getting Celebrini and Will Smith. Like that just strikes me as a little overkill.
It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome that the Sharks are going to be better than the Ducks faster.
They very well could be.
Wishing curses on William.
And now that they're wearing orange, it's really out of control.
Yeah.
All right. Next super chat. Where are we? From Gary B. Could we get a 3-round pick for a 3rd-round pick for Rasmus Ristolainen?
You got one for Zach Ronaldo, so why can't you get one for Rasmus Ristolainen?
It's still maybe the greatest trade in Flyers history.
Dude, I really feel like you could sell Risto to several teams that played in the playoffs this season who had a little bit of trouble on the back end.
You need that big. You need playoff Risto, man.
You need a big dude.
You need playoff Risto. What did it take to get him? Was it a 1st, 3rd, and Hague? Is that what it was?
I think it was because Hague.
Was it more than that?
Yeah, that sounds right.
No, I think it was
no. That sounds right.
Imagine giving that up, giving him the big contract, and then it's like, we're hoping to get a 3rd. Like, God damn it!
I think you.
God damn it, Chuck! Not you, Charlie.
You get a second.
All right, I would hope they could get a 3rd rounder. I don't know. All right, from Adam S.
I'm skeptical, but it was a 1st, a 2nd rounder, and Robert Hague.
Oh my God.
A second and Haig.
Jeez. And we can't get a third.
Not even Haig and a third. All right.
All right. From Adam S. Now, can they get him on U.S. soil, then visa, then ELC? I won't feel comfortable until he is here. Thanks, guys,
visa,
for the best.
Then U.S. soil.
Die
I think he
hard
needs
for
the
life.
visa before he gets here.
I was listening to Mertitas the other day, though, and I think you said this before as well, Charlie. Like, you can come to development camp without a visa. Like, Ivan Fedotov did it in, like, 2015.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how things have changed. Like,
yeah, it might be more complicated now.
Yeah.
But I don't. It just seems like it's pretty easy to prove. Like, does he need a contract to get a visa? So it's like, hey, he has a job.
No, because like,
well, he needs a contract to get a work visa. He doesn't need a contract to get a travel visa.
No, yeah.
All right.
Could get a travel visa.
Die hard for life. Thank you for being a die hard, Adam. From Matthew Harris. So what if they surprise us all and take Yzerman? Like, that would be the. Oh, hell yeah, they did the thing. Like, there's other guys probably ahead of him. That hopefully that's like the emergency option. Like, okay, none of the defensemen really fell. They couldn't get up to get a defenseman if they were really targeting him one. Berkeley Catton goes before 12. Maybe Hellenius is there. Maybe he isn't, but they just go, fuck it, Cole Yzerman, we're taking the goal scorer. Like, is that kind of how you're feeling about how it could fall, Charlie?
I would be shocked if they take Cole Yzerman just because I get the sense that, like, I've gotten the sense for 2 months he's fallen. If they took Cole Yzerman, I wouldn't hate it. Cole Yzerman, and I kind of feel like I'm going on a limb here. He's still in my blue chip tier. Like, for me, it is from 2 to 14. There's a tier of guys that I immediately would consider to be blue chip, great prospects, and Cole Yzerman is still in that tier for me. So for me, I'd be fine with them taking Cole Yzerman. I do not get the sense that is the way a lot of teams view him, though. I think he might slip to something like 17 or 18. I would be surprised if the Flyers take him, but he's in my draft primer. Again, if you're a diehard, check that out. I released it this morning. If you're not, it has everything you need to know about the Flyers draft heading into tomorrow. But I included Cole Yzerman as an option at 12, and I said, look, like, he doesn't fill an organizational need really, because he's not a center. He's a pure winger. But they did lose their biggest sniper prospect in Cutter Gauthier, and you could make a case that Cole Yzerman fills that spot. I wouldn't hate it. He's not one of my top choices, like one of my preferred options at 12. But if they took Cole Yzerman, I would not criticize him. I think he's a really good prospect.
All
right. Let's go
Next.
to JR215. What does the ideal 1C from Michkov look like?
He's probably got like brown hair and he's tall. I don't know.
I would
good.
like a
good player.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think a good 1C.
There's a lot of ways to go. I would like a distributor that plays some fairly solid defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my dream would be I'd like a center with good size who can play physical and do some of the physical things that Michkov does not do, but also is a highly skilled passer. I think that would be my dream, where I'd like a center that can make up for the fact that Michkov is a little small and can do all those physical things, but also has the vision and the playmaking ability to feed Michkov in goal-scoring situations.
I just got like, obviously this isn't the final solution, but I'm just thinking of like Morgan Frost's saucy little passes that he likes to make right to Michkov. That's going to be fun to watch.
I do think like the first half of Morgan Frost's season could have been a lot different if like Owen Tippett and Tyson Forster scored at the rate that they were supposed to.
He's
a fair point.
Very good at passing the puck.
All right. This last one is after K-Red, we're done. If you have more super chats, we'll get to them tomorrow. It's 2:11. Charlie's got places to be. Kelly's in the middle of a meeting right now. From K-Red, favorite breakfast sandwich, meat, bacon, sausage, etc.
Pork roll.
Yeah.
On a sandwich, pork roll.
The sandwich is 100% pork roll for me. I will make one exception, though, because I think the greatest breakfast sandwich in the world is the McGriddle, no egg, just sausage and cheese. I love McDonald's sausage patties with the McGriddle, outstanding. But any other breakfast sandwich, give me the pork roll.
Chuck, what you got?
I mean, I think my answer is probably sausage. However, and I'll give you a little tidbit about Charlie O'Connor's life. I don't eat breakfast. So.
Oh, I don't eat breakfast either, but I will have a breakfast sandwich around about 3-4 p.m. Like I'll eat a breakfast sandwich at any time in the day.
Well, that's at Wawa. They do the like at breakfast time. It's like 1 slice of pork roll with the egg.
Yeah.
But then around lunch, it's like no egg, 3 slices of pork roll.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, hell yeah. Hook me up with that. And that's usually the time I'm awake.
And I mean, I guess I'll say that, like, I think I probably like the taste of bacon more than sausage, but sausage doesn't make me hate myself 30 minutes later. So I'll go with sausage.
Oh, Charles.
I have been known to grab a from Heritage's scrapple sandwich from time to time.
Scrapple fucks, and I won't hear a single bad word about it.
I love me some scrapple.
Delicious.
But I do like it prepared a certain way. The best way to do is at home or go to Angelo's in Glassboro. All right, that is it. That's the show. Thank you for all your super chats.
Seriously,
you have hopefully funded my bar tab tomorrow at the draft party. Make sure you come on out to the draft party. It's tomorrow. It's Friday, starting at 6 p.m. South Philly, Chickies and Pete's, right down on Packer Ave. Most of South Philly is going to be in the sports complex. You're not going to want to miss this. We're going to have also, my God, Kelly, these door prizes, the raffle, this stuff is dope.
Yesterday, I got a nice little 4th of July cooler package situation from our friends at Clear Rum.
Oh my
God. So another thing. There's so many door prizes. Everyone's going to get a ticket to win. And then if you want to buy more tickets, you can buy more tickets. The proceeds will go to Snyder like they always do. But it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be go ahead, Chuck.
If you are going, please RSVP on the allphly.com website because that makes us look good.
It does, yeah.
Is that what it's for?
They just like to get a head count, and the Sixers got a really good head count.
Oh no, we got to beat the Sixers.
So we kind of want to ramp that up. Like I told everyone the other day.
Everyone RSVP.
Like I don't think JP's going to be at the door with like a clipboard and velvet ropes denying people if you didn't RSVP.
Well, no.
But we like to get a head count. It just makes everything easier for everyone, and it makes me and Charlie look good.
That's important.
So that's really the most important thing. But come on out. Vince has told me there might be a Michkov jersey.
I heard things.
There's going to be opening night tickets. That's right.
In his club box.
In the club box, opening night tickets.
With me, because I'm taking one
Kelly
of the
is demanding one of the tickets as payment for the show.
You can hang out with Kelly.
You get to go to the game and go with Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle.
I'm just kidding.
That's 2 prizes. No, I actually don't know if that's what's going to happen, but the prizes are going to be freaking phenomenal. The raffle, the live show, everything. Hopefully,
awesome.
Do we have Charlie's cardboard cutout?
Somebody's got to have
Someone's got to have it.
Charlie, is it in your house? I'll go get it.
It is not at my house. It potentially could make an appearance. I can try to pull some strings.
Hell yes.
Okay. It's somewhere. This is fun. So maybe you can get a picture with Charlie's cardboard cutout, but the real Gritty is going to be there.
Coming.
It's going to be an awesome time. Awesome. There's absolutely no reason not to come to South Philly Chickies on Friday and hang out with us for Misha Palooza and the Flyers draft. All right, that's it. Follow us here on YouTube. You know the drill. Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. Search PHLY Flyers wherever you get your podcasts. We're done. See you for the draft, fam. My name is Bill Matz. That's Kelly Hinkle. Charlie's out in Vegas. Stay loose and sexy, Philly.
We all silly like the mayor.
Hey, yo. Okay, I